Welcome back, everybody, to Rimworld. I've got kind of a plan for today that we wouldn't normally do, so I'll kind of explain that in a second. Some of you may want to skip over it because it's going to be fairly research tree heavy, so I'll put a timestamp on screen in a second for those of you interested in avoiding that. I'll go over some of the comment sections. So, firstly, people were saying that the scramblers from the Rimworld drop pods will actually just throw them to the edge of the map, at which point they'll be put outside our outer walls. That sounds fine to me. I'm alright doing that in hindsight, as long as it doesn't, what was the mod? We used a mod that actually fully prevented drop pod raids, but I can't remember what it was called now. It was like a mod that let you prepare carefully, but obviously not prepare carefully. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. But it essentially allowed us to block them so that we could only get land-based raids. I think we used it in the Jurassic Park series, but I might be wrong on that. That was the one I was confusing it with, so we will probably go for the Rimworld Scrambler at some stage just to see how that thing works. The other thing I wanted to talk about very briefly was, the clavicle surgery, right? So I assumed when they said clavicle, that it would be kind of a shoulder surgery, because the clavicle is your collarbone that connects between your shoulder blades to basically like the center of your chest, right? Now, I was assuming it would be a shoulder surgery, because obviously you don't have clavicle surgery in Rimworld, but you do have the shoulder. So I assumed that would be the case for Wojtek, but I genuinely went and found a Google Docs, a Google Books page on whether or not polar bear have clavicles. They do, but whether or not it'll work still, I mean, obviously, Rimworld logic doesn't really apply, so we'll see how it goes here. Whether or not we can actually install that, I guess we'll wait and see, but we might need to install a torso module, if those even exist, before we can install the weapon platform. I will try and find a way to get Wojtek done for today. So what I wanted to do, just to start off with here, is basically go through all of the green, yellow, and red research and see basically what we've missed, kind of catch ourselves up a little bit and before we get into too much of this crazy. I mean, it really does say a lot about the mod pack we've got when the majority of the technology is spacer and upwards. You can see a crazy amount of spacer tech. This is Archotech, and then, Ultratech, and then we've got Archotech at the end there, and also hiccups. Basically, I just want to go through these first few categories up to industrial and kind of decide, what have we missed, and more importantly, what do we want to start working on. Now, none of these research will take a particularly long time at all, bear in mind we've already got a pretty decent research lab, and obviously we've got the research bonuses, Robo-Daddy's been improved, etc. Shouldn't really take too long, especially now the entire base is basically made of sterile materials as well. So let's start from the top and work our way down. Now, I'll put a timestamp on screen for those of you not interested in this, if you just want to jump forward. I'll also make the episode slightly longer to make up for the fact that some of it is going to be talking about the research that we want to queue up here. I can't imagine it's going to take more than 5 minutes anyway. So let's go for... I mean, brewing obviously adds a lot of other stuff, but I don't really know that we're ever really going to get around to using it. Bearing in mind some of the meals we've got already. Let's go for, from the top then, I think rugs is probably not a bad idea. Farming techniques, seeing as we've gone for hydroponics, would be pretty good as well. Not a lot of people are interested in seeing some crazy hydroponics factories. I'll go tree sowing, and I think agriculture 3 probably wouldn't hurt either. Let's go full-blown agriculture. There's no point having those massive hydroponic spaces, those artificial ecosystems, if we only have like a few crops to grow in them, right? Now, let's see what we can actually get over here. So we've got deep water bridges. Unnecessary. We haven't got any deep water. Animal autopsy might be a bad idea if we do end up upgrading Wojtek massively and then he ends up dying. That would obviously suck. We'll go for the managing software too. So here we've got some more detonation stuff. Now, one thing I wanted to explore today was the remote tech mod. Specifically, I wanted to try and set up a kill box where we could end up saving more prisoners than we end up killing of hostiles. Does that make sense? So being able to capture more people than we actually kill. To do that, the sleeping gas would come in very handy. There's also things like these gas vents here. So I think we're going to need to research a couple of these things like improved detonator wire, advanced channels, detonator network. We already have proximity sensors that help detonate that, and that'll obviously be pretty useful. I can't remember if it says advanced bondage bed. Say no more. We've been discussing that, OnlyFans, for a couple of episodes now. Feel like the joke has been made, but, that's, what is that used for, sorry? Need to double check here. Unlock building advanced bondage bed. It's very comfortable for withdrawal. I don't know what those words mean in that order, but I'll assume it'll do something helpful. We're going to research it either way. Swimming pools are quite nice. Let's get a piano too. We've already got pianos, but obviously not pianos added by this one. I mean, they're on the list. I've got to be very careful about what I queue up, because when we add them to the queue, we can't remove them again, obviously. What have we got down here then? Go juice production, aged drugs. I mean, all of these drugs would come in helpful, but I won't worry about them for the time being. I don't think it's super necessary. Organ transplants. I mean, versus what? I mean, how have we not already got that, given some of the things we're doing? There's torture as of research. Obviously, I've got to go for that, right? So we've got Medifuel Refinery. That's for the medicine bay. So I guess we'll load those up because those are coming quite handy. Cluster columns are essentially, funnily enough, columns that fire out cluster weaponry. Don't think that's super necessary. Neutramine synthesis will be pretty good. Artillery? We've got auto mortars. What does this one actually add? It adds the artillery, which allows to target world tiles, right? Probably not massively necessary then. Sewage treatment is, again, a bit unnecessary. Thank you for moving the whole thing there. That's much appreciated. Where the hell were we? Sewage treatment is unnecessary. For the small colony that we've got, I don't think that's entirely something we need to worry about here. We've got mending droid repair parts in generators. We've got humanoid genetic engineering. Done. Animal stations. What are those for? Is that automatic animal harvesting, perhaps? Like milking and whatever else? Okay, fine. We'll go for that. Electric chair? I think that one I will ignore. So the improved cabinets and things, the scientist cabinets, those are going to come in very, very handy, aren't they? Less lethal turrets I've been talking about for a few episodes we'll get. Now, what have we got here? Natural limbs and organs. That would be good if we do want to make Robo-Daddy the pure psychic power that we want him to be originally. Getting rid of that and having him with natural limbs will obviously give that psychic bonus. Or will more specifically remove away the malice that we've got from the bionics gear. Trench warfare? I feel like it's probably unnecessary. This is cool. The computer-assisted medicine, that's for the med base, so we'll go ahead and get that one. That's quite fun. Rocket complex, probably not necessary. We've got animal stations too there. That could be quite good. Animal control. What is that for exactly? Hello, what are you? Oh my god. Allows you to directly interact with your creatures, unlocking player-controlled abilities for each hybrid family. You're telling me we could turn Wojtek into a hybrid farmer polar bear and then control him? I'm in. Made uniform for the robot. Everybody's been asking for that for days. I'm finally proud to be able to bring that to you guys. Genome sequencing is pretty good if you want to do some cloning. Maybe clone Robo-Daddy, get one in cold storage, put it in his vault with his drugs and his gold. Genius. Mechanic cabinet. Yep, I think we'll go for that one too. Draining tiles. What does that do? Draining tiles. What would be the point of that? Unmatched cleanliness. Oh, wow. Maybe better than sterile tiles. Oh, that could be crazy. Okay, we'll go for that one. You've got launch systems there for Doomsday rocket launchers, whatever else. Not too interested in that one. Basic electronics, I can't believe we haven't got at this point. That's insane. Got a filth compressor. Vacuum system that will get rid of filth in a room. In a medical bay again. Yeah, sure, absolutely, we'll get that one. Transport pods I'm going to get just... I don't think we'll ever use it. Be good for making allies if we ever decide that's something we're interested in. Now, what the hell is an ASRG? Oh, power generation. Uranium power generator. Interesting. I feel like it's probably not too necessary right now. Obviously, we're going to Rem Atomics, and then we can get the drop pod scramblers there. Manufacturing, somehow we don't have, which is insane. Complex electronics are also going to come in quite handy. Then we've got, like, advanced robotics there, too. That's quite an expensive research, and I don't think it's quite as necessary as some of this other stuff. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that didn't take as long as I thought it would. We'll put that on to the end, then. How about that? We'll put that on to the end so that we can eventually get that. How much research did I cure? That was like 40-something, right? 52. That should last him quite a while, but a lot of this stuff is really essential shit that we've just generally forgotten to do. Okay, so I think I've actually worked out what's going on here. I've looked it up, and it turns out I was kind of right in that it does go into the shoulder, but the arm module doesn't include the shoulder. Unlike the base game Rimworld, where obviously if you get an arm blown off at the shoulder, you can then install a new arm. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. The point is, we need to make an Archotech shoulder, install that into Wojtek. That will give us a clavicle slot, at which point we install this here that the Omnibot's just finished, the range platform module, into the clavicle slot, and then I assume... I assume then we turn your pawn specialized for range combat. Range platform module. I assume then we install the weapon into that. I really have no idea, but it seems like that's the first step into doing that. We've got to basically wait until they finish this, and to finish to get that one finished, we need an Architect arm, and we need the charge rifle, which I think you're working on now. Yeah, so he's working on the Architect arm. Before I start any surgery, clavicle or otherwise, I'll wait until that's finished first. We'll start working backwards from the weapon itself. And given that it says PCA arm CL, you'd assume that it's an arm replacement, right? I wish it said, you know, like, replace its body part arm. But I'm pretty sure that that is going to be just an arm replacement, which is why it probably won't work on Wojtek. So maybe this weapons platform with the clavicle thing is what we need. But from the sounds of it, all that does is just lower aiming time, shooting accuracy, and manipulation. So I hate to say it, we still might not be able to do anything here. Well, let's get the last of his psychic abilities done as well, because I know a lot of people are very interested, myself including, seeing what this is all about. Let's stick him in the psychic trainer. It's going to take him 4 days. Does it matter? You know, all he's doing right now is researching, so we might as well put him in there. So what's going on with these charge rifles? You've started making one, and now you've decided to make a crafter base station instead. No, I definitely don't want that. Thank you. Let's just get the charge rifle done before they focus on anything else. Somebody said as well that the scissor blade we crafted yesterday was apparently swiped by a robot, but it couldn't have been because before we finished it, I set scissor blade to be disabled unless they put it somewhere else, unless we've got like a dumping stockpile somewhere that they've hidden it away in that I just didn't notice. It might have been swiped by a robot, but the point is it wasn't recycled. Now, what I want to do is exactly the same thing, obviously, with charge rifles, because we don't want them to immediately produce a charge rifle, spend all that time and effort, and then have it immediately ground up. I think, in fact, I even went as far to go on this one and disable, disable scissor blades on this one, so they wouldn't have even pushed it straight into the machine here. Just a quick note before I forget as well, the reason I made the sword for Robo-Mummy rather than a weapon, bearing in mind that she's got what, like 19, almost 20 shooting with a double passion in it. I gave her the sword instead because we have no cool range weapons at all. Like, the best thing we've got is the charge rifle, and I figured an antimatter sword was a lot more impressive than just another charge rifle, which is obviously just base game Rimworld. So that's why I went for that one. But when we get the antimatter weapons, of course, we'll be crafting those as soon as possible for Robo-Mummy. Ah, there we are. Okay, good shit. So we're just waiting on the charge rifle now, right? Whenever you're ready, little bot. Well, I should really bring an Omnibot over here to finish off it instead, shouldn't I? So where's all our yayo these days? Sorry, I was just updating the, of course I was just updating the drugs lab here, to make, oh, sorry, not the drugs lab, but the drugs stockpile, to make it look a bit more impressive. Yayo doesn't rot, does it? No, it doesn't need storage in a cold unit. We just got it there for convenience. Let's go ahead and get that shit out of there. Put it in this vault instead. Ooh, Blue Moon Corporation. Okay, there they are. Okay, that's probably the best place we could have asked for them to spawn. These are another one of the high-tech factions, so let's be a little bit careful here. They have some of that void armor again. Got lots of miniguns there. We've got some those really cool burn gauntlets they're coming in with, and boatloads of drugs. Boatloads of cold, hard drugs. I think we'll be fine. You know, I still think that our kill box is nicely equipped right now, even though we have simplified it somewhat yesterday. We've got our antimatter railgun. I'm keeping that off. Should we send in the chaperone mines? I've specifically been saving these up for a couple of days now. Let's let them all go. Let's get straight out there. There we are. Let's go ahead and lock that door afterwards. This is going to be fairly interesting. I think we've never seen kind of a swarm like this before. The wall opens up and out of it just comes pure explosion. Oh, the walls. Ah, oh, fuck. Watch the walls, please. Fucking chaperone mines. Yes. Oh my god, they're insane. They're just absolutely insane. I love it. Wow. We can definitely get ourselves some void armor, as long as this raid doesn't take any more than 7 hours. Wow, they do so much damage. We need to line the whole outside of the base with the hyperalloy, don't we? That's just too much. Right, go ahead. Go straight ahead, my friends. And let's go ahead and call all those robots back too before they end up getting themselves killed again. So, with the reactor injectors, now that we've got the instant flick research, these would actually work pretty well as a reactor weapon. So we could just use the power console to turn them on and off when we felt like it. We might even be able to line many, many different reactor injectors up at the same time. These poor boys don't stand a chance, do they? You know what, with a smoke pop out, they fucking might. Okay, let's see how they get on then. I'm interested in kind of how difficult things are for us at this stage of the game, whether or not we need to kind of readjust a little bit. But you know what? They're making good progress. It's a shame they flee as early as they do, because otherwise they might actually be in for a chance there. Interesting, okay. We get Robo-Mummy some hyper armor. I believe she's actually already got some. Yeah, void armor, excellent. And then you've got void armor, good. We need some void helmets. That person's got it, but obviously he's dead, and I don't know if they'd be too pleased about that. Let's go take some prisoners then. Fuck it. Stop getting that hyper stuff, and let's go and get ourselves some boys here. Can I get the hyper helmet off of you before you die? Yeah, that's fairly important. Run. What is this one? Antimatter sniper rifle. Oh, but it's bio-coded. That's a shame. I thought we found a cool weapon there. What's that one? Antimatter SMG. I mean, that would work for her, right? Unless we've got anything out here as well. We've got some gore slants. We've seen those before in previous series. They're pretty good. We've got a railgun. That's quite fun. I think the antimatter SMG is kind of the way to go. Forswear void helmet. And let's go ahead and get ourselves that SMG as well. There we go. Wow. Oh my god, her creepy blue eyes, they're glowing like a foot below where they should be on their helmet. That's so good. Obviously not a foot, but you get what I'm saying. Oh, right, scissor blade. We also need to... Can I equip it? Melee, load out too heavy. Bollocks. She's got too much stuff equipped. I mean, this is going to be way more useful, right? So I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that one. Let's see if we can take some prisoners now then. Who have we got? Hannibal seems like he's barely been scratched. Wuss, I assume? Nope. Animal hater, fast walker, night. Why did he get knocked down then? He's got PCB hand M. Oh, that's quite fun. Oh, he did get shot in the brain. He did get shot in the head, which is reasonable. So he's got those combat boosters as well. So we've got another 1.7 days before our Robo Daddy is out of his psychic training. Why don't we start work on the kill box that will allow us to hopefully take more people than we end up killing? So we've already got this corridor in place. I feel like that could come in somewhat handy here for I mean, use in exactly that. So we've got the gas vents, which will essentially be a way to do it. It's whether we want to do that or whether we want to use sleeping gas canisters. How do these use? Pushes gases from one side to the other when powered. Equalizes heat like a regular vent when powered. Okay, cool. Switches can be used to toggle the vents remotely as well as in groups. How do we just put gas out there? That's the question. I guess maybe the canisters? Oh, so I guess what you would do with that is that you have the canisters down. As the enemies come into this room, inverted commas, we'll unlock these doors so the enemies can come in. The gas would set off, it would flood the room full of gas, and then when we want our people to go and obviously haul the bodies out of, we need one of the vents to suck it into a separate room. If we do that, I wonder if that room will then be full of gas, or whether we could preemptively... Oh, they're one way. I see. That's not a problem, though, because what that means is we can put the gas in a room, basically put a canister and detonate it in a side room, pump it into this area, and then pump it back through when we're done. That actually might work. Yeah, I like this plan. That's pretty good. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll make it a 1x1 corridor, because I feel like it's a bit more effective for gas-related insults. Let's do something like that, I guess. We'll try and reinforce it as much as possible so they don't just break their way out. So what we want is a door on the entrance to the kill box and a door on the entrance to the secondary entrance to the kill box. When we want to use the gas canisters, what we'll do is we'll close the main entrance to force them through this way. And again, we'll have to unlock these doors down here. Then as they're coming through here, that's when we'd have to shut these doors behind them. Maybe, again, using remote tech would be... I guess kind of the whole point of using remote tech would be for closing that afterwards. So we close it behind them, and then we'll see how that works. See if we can actually manage to take some people alive for a change. Now, when it says that the proximity centers, it says there's scans for movement in the surrounding area. If I put it there, are they just going to attack it? If we put it on the other side of the wall, will it even work? This might take a couple of raids to obviously understand how the mod functions. But hopefully, I mean, hey, it might work that we can put it there and put an embrasure. So as they walk through, they'll get line of sight of it as it's too late. So if we put it up there with an embrasure, they can't shoot it until they are directly in front of it there. But by that point, we could maybe flood the whole thing with gas. That could work. And again, same, how does the actual gas can apply to? That's where we'd have to use the vents to vent it in from a separate room, right? So we'll probably want to do a couple of these pods over a pretty... Well, obviously, we don't need to build that out of a hyper-alloy. That's kind of overkill a little bit. But with a couple of these pods along the route here, I will also fortify it a little bit. Otherwise, they'd be able to just smash the vents and then go into the gas room. And maybe that's before they've also triggered it and get a shortcut straight through the kill box. That wouldn't be ideal. So we'll have to put another maybe fortifying wall on the other side. Oh, this is interesting. This is a really kind of cool upgrade system. You've got, rather than the drop-down menus, actual modules to basically install into them. So we can upgrade it with armor plating. Prevents it from being flammable. It costs 50 plasteel and gives it 300 times hit points. It's 300% extra hit points, I should say. That's pretty good. And then the high power fans as well. If we can get both of those, that's pretty fantastic. How does that affect the... So gas venting power, 200%. Right now it's got venting capacity of 130 per second. 130 what? I couldn't tell you. The other one is idle power relay that makes it draw very little power when no gas needs to be moved. We're not going to bother with that. I think we've got enough in the grid excess to be able to afford 50 watts of power. So sleeping gas canisters then. We want to make refined sleeping gas because that seems a bit more potent. Got to refine... Yeah, out of what though? It's 1 component, 12 silver, and 2 medicine. Hey, that's another good use for all this medicine production I've been working on. Good stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove the remote explosive. I feel like we're a little bit beyond that at this stage. So what have we got here? We've got main ingredient, silver or spark power, and it affects the work amount? I see. So we can make it out of spark powder and steel if we want some really budget stuff. Okay. I mean, silver and components, right, is the lowest combo. That's fine by me. Non-standard materials require increased work. I wonder if they have other secondary effects, though. Oh, well. Let's go for the refined sleeping gas canisters. Let's do until X where X is 10. I think that's fair enough. That's 1 component, 120 silver, and 2 medicine. Yeah, we've got that. 1,800 work? 1,800 work is a lot. Wow. Shit, maybe we'll do it until, like, 4, and then unpause at, like, 2? No, just do it until we've got 4. Wow, that's a lot of effort that's going into that. There it is. The arm is complete. This is the one with the built-in charge rifle. So it's the PCA Arm CR. Now, here's the golden question. Can we now install that on Wojtek? Please. You got to do this for me. Come on. PCA, come on. I don't think we can. Ah, fuck. That's a shame. Let's just make sure it's not on this list, because sometimes this one takes... This menu takes a lot longer to update. No, I don't believe we can. That's a real shame. So the other thing we've got, of course, is the ranged weapon platform, but I believe that's just a... I think that's genuinely just a thing to give you bonuses to shooting. An advanced range platform module. If it's time, it repairs itself over time. The stabilizer and targeting system, it can give your pawn great accuracy and turn your pawn to specialized range combat. I don't believe there's any way to give Wojtek a weapon, which is a big disappointment, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything at all. Melee platform is the same story, I assume. So that, yeah, that just gives melee bonuses. It's these things that obviously give the built-in weaponry. That's a shame. And I wonder if maybe that would even work for RoboDaddy. I wonder if that requires them to actually be draftable, capable for combat. Obviously, it's draftable, but capable for combat before they'll actually use it. Whether it's like, say, for example, like a regular power claw where it only comes into effect when they're actually in melee combat. That's a shame. If it's automated, hey, maybe that's still good for RoboDaddy. It'll be good for RoboMummy either way. Don't get me wrong. We can install it into her. The other thing I can think of is maybe not the Arcotech bench, but maybe this one here might offer something else. So this one here is, it's better than a biological shoulder in almost every way. It also have mounted assault rifle weapon. It's a shoulder replacement, correct? Polar bears have shoulders. That one requires a hand replacement. That replaces a hand with a minigun. So why don't we try... The shoulder I'm almost certain will work. Whereas this one just had arm replacements, didn't it? Maybe that's where we're going wrong. I'm almost certain the shoulder replacement worked. Polar bears, I think, have shoulders. But maybe they don't have hands. There's a strong argument for whether or not polar bears have hands. Sure, let's give it a go. So this is a shoulder-mounted... What's this one? A shoulder-mounted assault rifle. This one is a shoulder-mounted sniper rifle. I kind of like that one for Wojtek. Maybe one on each shoulder. Or what do you think? 2 sniper rifles? Or 2... I think 2 assault rifles. Yeah, you know what? I'm in. Give me 2 of those. That was for, obviously, the arm replacement. And then we'll try the miniguns as well. We'll just make one of those to see if that works. What are the materials for that? Bionic hand. That should be fairly easy to make. Bionic hand. There we are. Now, we did have, if you remember... a front paw available. Now, I wonder if the front paw counts as a hand module, whether or not this will even work in that. But as he's got a front paw, I wonder whether or not a hand can actually replace that. The shoulder, I'm almost certain will work, though. So that requires 1 bionic shoulder, and surprisingly, not alphabetical for reasons unbeknownst to me. We are. They're still quite expensive, don't get me wrong. That's still, what, 5 advanced components? Good God. Well, let's get those done as soon as possible. I think that might be the ticket here. Oh, and also, before I forget, with regards to the batteries, there was a comment that was basically hit the nail on the head, that we did actually get the 64K batteries, but because using DocSword, it adds it under a drop-down menu. Again, I've not used DocWorlds before halfway through the series, so it's going to take me a little while to just kind of get that into my mind. But yeah, we do have access to the 64K batteries. Pointless, because our 4K batteries don't even get halfway charged. So it's a bit pointless going for that one. Sure, we could condense it all down into a single battery, but if that thing explodes, in fact, I even think it says on the description. Yeah, 64,000 watt days of power. If that blows up, that'd be pretty remarkable. There was a couple of comments yesterday as well, very carefully reminding me that I missed some of the combat suppliers. Maybe they didn't put it quite that politely. So I've called in a combat supplier from Dad's Friendly Robot Company, our allied settlements. That's how we could test that. No. We mustn't. We mustn't. But it's very tempting. But we mustn't. But we could. But we won't. Let's, but we might. We'll trade with these guys first, at least, and sort of see how that goes. How are we coming along with the gas canister production? Have they built one? Oh, they've actually built one. Oh, they built 2. Holy shit. Okay. Let's go ahead and get those put down as soon as possible. Now, what I want to do is get one down, blueprint this whole thing, and then import it kind of along the edge of this. Maybe we'll just put down 4 of them, again, to match the actual build itself there. So we've got a gas canister that's going to vent the gas outwards, and then a gas canister that's going to gas the vent inwards. No, the other way around. You know what I meant. The only thing is we have to be very careful about how we do this, because when they're powered, they will just vent no matter what. So if we put their canister down and then... Oh, wait. That door is unlocked, and this door is unlocked as well, correct? Oh, they're just coming up to use this one instead. I guess that is slightly less effort than going through here. Okay, fine. Hopefully the AI, though, the enemy AI, will use this as a... Hello? Hello. Sorry, I get distracted by just... I was going to say mundane shit, but imagine that thing with a charge rifle strapped to it. Anyway, hopefully the AI will use this one, the enemy AI, rather than this one. I'm hoping it's just a movement, like an actual pathfinding thing, that they're determining this door is quicker than going through the 2 unlocked doors, rather than them not actually being able to use the doors at all. That would suck. Thank you, Hornbot. Much appreciated. So let's blueprint that now. I've also set that to auto-replace, by the way, because I figured... Why wouldn't you? I assume you can't put the gas back in the canister. That'd be a bit strange. Now, let's go ahead and remove all of... How do we do this? That door needs to be powered. So why don't we put the actual power for the kill box down this side? Remove this cable here, and instead have them connecting to something directly coming in parallel to the doors. So bring in the cable this way through, right? And then we'll bring in another one to there, another one to there, another one to, say, there, for example, for when we get up to that stage. That way we can connect them up to their own separate circuits. What we need is a separate circuit for the gas vent, separate circuit for the power conduit. We can either put switches on them, or alternatively, we can use the power control bench with the instant flick just to be able to turn them on and off, but switches might actually work better for that. Have one switch controlling all of the vents inward, and then one switch controlling all the vents outward. Where the hell is that combat supplier going? I guess we'll send Robo-Mummy to chase them down. They've got a llama full of rifles, and then they just see this absolute deathbot chasing them down. Brilliant. With its void armor and its spooky glowing eyes in completely the wrong place. Right, there we are. How much silver have we got? 36... Oh, only 36,000. Okay. Sorry, understandable that we might not have enough to trade with them here. Right, what have you got for me? I'm looking for... any of the things that will automatically produce the chaperone mines. Scyther assemblers, 2 of them. Boom. Chaperone mine assembler, 1 of them. Perfect. Antimatter grenades. Cosmic frag grenade. You should throw this at the maximum possible range, huh? What other weapons have you got? I mean, they are a metal-made hat. You've got to buy it. You know we've got to buy it. I mean, it's probably nowhere near as good as the Void gear, but it's also a battle-made hat. I'm going to buy that just to see what it do. I feel like it's a horrible idea. I feel like we're probably going to end up regretting it, but we might as well give it a go. We'll send them the remote explosives because we're probably not going to use those anymore. Oh, they've got a Beyond Our Understanding tech print. Very nice. We need a lot of those, obviously. What else have you guys got here? EMP shells, probably not too relevant. They've got medicine. We've only got 1 of those, so we'll go ahead and buy that for ourselves. Oh, 59,000. Good God. You guys want some stuff in return? You guys like antimatter, right? You kids love antimatter. There you go. No, I don't want to give you that many. I want to give you like 1,000. What I meant by that was 1,000 of those, and then hyperalloy. You kids love hyperalloy. Yeah, I'd like 200 of those. Problem solved. Actually, think I hate that? I'm not sure. She's got a little bit of especially up here on the kind of thumbnail. She does have a bit of a Patrick Stewart look going on, which I'm not. Nothing wrong with Patrick Stewart. It's just, for a battle maid, it's a very jarring... It's quite a big juxtaposition. I don't know that it really suits our dev bot there. That's okay. Let's go apply this tech print. We might as well get her some intellectual points, seeing as she's got 0 and Robo Daddy has all of it. How's he looking, by the way? Is he almost 3? Another 7.4 days? What? But that said that it was only going to take another... Oh, was that just for the first one? Well, fuck. Another 7.4 days? It's just Robo-Mummy on her own now. Oh, that's a bit sad. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe the gas doesn't dissipate, especially if we were to build an airlock. What if we did something like that? Then as they go through this door and this door, In fact, if we built an airlock-style system, they might just warp through the gas casually. And we wouldn't need a vent, bring it back out. We'll keep it there anyway, as a kind of contingency plan. So let's go ahead and build a couple more of those. Get them all hooked up to the same thing, and we'll see if we can use the power console to control the switches, or we could control them directly. Obviously, it'd be more convenient to control a switch to deal with the power instead. We'll see how it goes. Either way, we can definitely make this work. It's just finding what works best. We've got 1 hour, and I've just tried to get this ready for when they turn up. I don't know if we're quite going to be able to get it set up here. So what I've done is I've hooked up the... So we've got these vents here, the sucking out of the kill box back into storage vents as Obviously, we need the armor plate and the high power fans. Whatever. That's not really too relevant right now. These guys, I want to connect up to this inside power line. So I'm going to go through all of them one by one here and just make sure they are connected this way. Then these ones are connected into this power line here. Oh, I've accidentally hooked that one up. That's not going to work, genius. And then that way we control each power line to make it super, super convenient. All we're going to do is flick one switch, 4 vents come on, 4 vents come off, depending on how we want to set it up. But yeah, that should be basically all there is to it. The only issue is I've had to run another cable, as you can see there, down the inside of the wall to be able to power the doors. I thought that might be a good idea, but then I figured there's no point having these doors powered if we're just going to let the enemies just walk through it anyway, right? It's not really much point. Anyway, let's make sure that's unlocked basically ASAP, because if they spawn in now, we might not have time to change this. To be honest, I don't think we're going to get a chance to finish this off before the raid comes in anyway. So that's going to be the power switch for that one. That's going to be the power switch for that one. We'll go ahead and hook those up to the main grid. And that should be it. That should be a fully controllable gas projection and retraction system, I hope. And these doors are both unlocked, so they can walk straight through there. I think that's all there is to it. I genuinely think that is. I just got to make sure they are, again, all connected up to the correct grid. And we have Danium. That's the Outlander, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is a pretty easy raid compared to the last one we fought. What is that? 52, just 52 people, really. We actually might get enough time to set this up then. That would be pretty good. So the only other thing we need is the remote detonation station. That's the only thing we haven't got right now to actually detonate the gas. Yeah, that is genuinely it. So what we want then, I assume, is, Right. So when this is built, I mean, again, it's going to be very, very close if we can actually get this done. But my Robo-Daddy is our other manually controlled builder, and he's still in psychic training. But when he's done, that's all the psychic training we've got to do. Then we've just got to give him powers. So that's going to be quite fun to see him actually be able to unleash all this time spent on that. Where is the detonation thing? That's under remote tech, and then we want the remote detonator. We want to put that along this line, I guess, somewhere. Again, I don't think we're going to quite get this finished. It's a bit of a shame. We were very, very close. But next raid, we'll definitely be able to test this out. Fucking robots opening the front door there for them. Ideally, this time around, then, we'll be able to see whether or not they can actually get through these doors. That's the main thing. Or whether or not they are going to smash down a wall instead. Otherwise, this just might not work. Unless we can find a way to remotely close doors. Now, there is a potential way to do that with the concealed defenses. So that will... concealed defenses, genius. That allows you to raise and lower basically turrets and blocks with power. If we can use that to act as an airlock to actually trap them in, that will work. So again, we can definitely get this working. It's just a case of finding the combination that actually all works together. But I've got quite a few mods working in tandem here. Right, go on, Chaperone Mine. Please don't blow a hole in the wall. One day these Chaperone Mines are gonna mine a hole through the wall for the enemies to come through. Good God. Okay. Thank you for that. And now, we've got everything set up now. Yes, we've got our 2 Scyther assemblers. We've got 3 Chaperone Mine and then 1 Pikeman assembler. So the Scythers are actually going to be pretty good. That's the one thing we don't have right now is any sort of melee combat. Melee attacking uranium shredder turret kind of implies to me that they have got a clear route through. Let's see where they go. You know, I think they're actually going to use these doors. Okay, this is pretty good. It's a shame we haven't got any bots capable of finishing off the very, very final part of this building. Can you build... Could you just build this? Have you got enough construction skill to allow that to work? You've got a construction skill of 4. I won't hold my breath, but you might just be able to pull this one off before they get here. Come on, come on. Where are they? What? Oh, the Chaperone Mine opened the door. Fucking thing. Oh, it died in the door frame as well. You motherfucker. Oh, you shitty Chaperone Mine. I at least wanted to test if this thing would work, you big bitch. Oh, fuck it. Right, okay, one thing I also need to do, because we are clogging up the kill box here, is to allow this thing to have charge weapon in it again. Just to basically prevent them being clogged up when they die with charge rifles and whatever else. There we are. That should... Oh, it's so laggy. Okay, it's really not happy. There we are. That should kickstart that thing again. Or not. Don't worry about it. We'll deal with that in a minute. Oh, fucking Chaperone Mine. Seriously? Oh, wait. Hello, Kenny. Oh, you've answered my question for me. Okay, you know what? Not so bad then. I still hate that Chaperone Mine, but we did answer a question. The enemy can go through those doors. Okay, fantastic. So now all we need is the detonation station. And then we obviously need to sever these things. What are we disassembling there? Oh, that's the power cable. We need to sever these things from power. And then that's it. Then we've got the ability to pump the gas in and then obviously take it back out. We want to get the prisoners captured. Got a very friendly exotic goods trader here with something I was interested in. Oh, we might as well buy the long wave radio, seeing as we don't have one. Auxiliary AIs. They've got an architect liver. We already have a lot of livers already, so I feel like it's not necessary. Architect sternum. Might as well buy that. Saves us a lot of time in producing that. We are still working on the... Wait. Oh my god, we've already got the mini one complete. Oh shit, okay, we've got to try that. We've got to try that in a second. I didn't think we'd have time to get it finished today for something I was about to talk about in a second. Ooh, Cataphract's armor is nice. Basically, it's taking a hell of a long time, like a crazy amount of time to be able to produce the arm for Wojtek, so that unfortunately is going to be something for tomorrow, because it's genuinely like 2,000 work per go. Fortunately, not much I can do to adjust that either. By the medicine, I'm going to have to sell some things here, I'm fully aware of that. Yikes. Okay. Would you guys be interested in some hyper alloy, perhaps? No? How about some gold instead, then? Here. Let's give him 500 gold. That just about allows us to take that. So, this one is taking, yeah, as you can see there, he's been working on it for fucking ages. We're still at 1,700 points left, so that is unfortunately going to take a very, very, very long time. Let's see if we can, however, replace Wojtek's port with a minigun. This is about the only way I think we've actually got to check whether or not this works at this point, so I'm kind of praying it actually does the job. Oh, I don't need to buy psychic artifacts anymore, because we have the ability to just craft the Athenium now, so that's a bit of a waste of time, I will admit. Where is little Wojtek? It doesn't appear we can. Oh, that's such a shame. So we've got the left paw module slot and the right paw module slot. I thought those might count as hands. Evidently not. I assume they count as feet instead. I wish it gave you a little bit more information than that. That's a shame. Okay, it's obviously picked up the fact that it's an animal, so knows now that it has, you know, paws rather than hands. If we had an animal that, again, had hands, like, I guess, a gorilla, that would actually do the trick. Have we got anything we could... What about, like, the horn? Maybe you can take something from this. I mean, there's just a slight variation here that might allow it to work. No, nothing at all. Do we want to install wolf jaws into the wolf? I feel like it's kind of a waste of time, isn't it? Yeah, nothing at all there. Damn, that's a shame. Okay, so really we've got to just wait for this thing to be complete now. It's going to take a very, very long time. With RoboDaddy in storage for another 5.6 days, we are going to have to rely on the crafter bot and then occasionally the Omnibot to pick it up. There we go. Look at that. It worked perfectly. Very nice. Okay, so now we've got these things. So with the instant flick, they're called power switch. Now, there's no way to, unfortunately, deviate between them. Somebody left a comment on it wasn't on yesterday's episode, I think it was actually on the day before. I was trying to find it a second ago, but I can't for the life of me turf it up in the other 100 of comments. 100 of comments rather than 100, you know what I meant. If anybody knows of the mod that allows you to rename things, specifically the comments said you could rename the auto mortar to Warden as, you know, as kind of an honorific for that time where there was a prison break and this thing immediately annihilated the prisoners. That would be quite a fun thing to do, but more importantly, it will allow us to rename those switches to what their jobs are. That way in the console, we might be able to just flick them off immediately. Switch, 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 switch. Oh, it looks as if we can't do it anyway. Thundergun, vitals monitors. It is just called switch, is it not? Maybe it's called power switch? Power switch. Okay, let's try that again then. That would be great to know. Now, obviously, we can probably tell in the console from what is turned on and what is turned off. We'll just have to try and tell them apart. But if they're both on at the same time or both off at the same time, it's going to ruin it. Power switch. No, it's not there. Blech. Why don't we sort by enabled? No, it's not picking it up. They're not on a separate grid at all, are they? 13,000 watt excess, and then this power net conduit is on a 13,000 watt excess. Damn. The other thing we could do, of course, is maybe rename gas vents and have those on the power grid instead. Let's just take a look, see if those count towards it. So gas vents times 4. Yeah, there we are. If we could rename these, that would essentially allow us to do the thing that we've done here with the power switches, except a lot more effectively, because we can do it directly from that. So if anybody knows how to do that, if anybody knows the name of the mod that allows you to rename things, that would be perfect for the sleeping gas corridor. So we've got another 3.9 days, and again, RoboDaddy's in storage for a long-ass time. Let's go and detonate the explosives. We'll see if the gas maintains... Is it going to stay in that room? Okay, so it's they do pump it out there. Look at that. Oh, it works perfectly. It works absolutely perfectly. And that's slowly moving. You can see that the capacitive gas in here is being pushed into this one here. That's so cool. That's genuinely very, very impressive. Now, the reason I wanted to do that was to see if... Oh, you stupid robot. Was to see how quickly it would disperse. So, to see if when inside this corridor, it would actually disperse at all. Because if it doesn't, that means that we've essentially got ourselves a sleeping gas corridor, and if we set up an airlock effectively enough, the enemies are always going to have to worry about going through this sleeping gas. And again, if none of our people are allowed to go through it, we should be fine. Something's locked, so... Oh, no, that one is unlocked, sorry. If we forbid it, will that stop our people going in there, but still allow the AI to go in? I believe it probably will, won't it? So that way we've got a permanent sleeping gas corridor that only the enemy, the only enemy raiders are ever going to trigger. That's pretty good. I like that. We will need to build another door back here to finish the airlock at some point. We might even want to get a few doors on that. So let's move into here. I mean, to be the ultimate airlock, we'd of course vent the gas from here back into the system. Otherwise, it isn't going to work as a true airlock. But just to give them a bit of a gap while they go into this chamber and then move into that chamber. That way, we're only losing potentially 2 squares of gas per cycle. Again, for a true airlock experience, we'd have to pump it into, like, this zone here. You know what we could do? We could have another vent here, so that when they move into this, it pumps the gas out of there, back, say, into here, which then pumps it straight back in. So this way, it's always filtering through. This was only a prototype. This was only an experiment to see if it will work, and I think we can safely say it's definitely worked. How effective it's going to be, obviously, remains to be seen. We need to wait on another raid for that, but I'm pretty happy with this experiment. This has been one of the few kill box experiments that's actually worked. Now, a lot of people point out maybe we needed the radiation extender behind it, or the irradiator behind the radiation extender, so that could still work, but it's not that effective, is it? We can occasionally do burn damage on enemies. I don't know that that's massively useful, especially mutating them then afterwards is probably not a good idea. But this works really well, because this means we can just capture them as prisoners, then mutate them afterwards. Well, I have some bad news. It turns out, even with the PCB shoulder attachment, it still doesn't work. Polar bears do not have shoulders. Polar bears do not have clavicles. Polar bears do not have anything we can install any body parts onto. So the dream of Farmer Wojtek with his minigun shoulder has kind of fallen apart a little bit. We need an animal with a shoulder. The only thing I can think of, what animals have shoulders? Gorillas have shoulders. Monkeys have shoulders. We need an animal trader. You know what we should do? Okay, big brain play to make up for the fact that Wojtek is just going to be a lowly farmer his entire life, which, to be fair, I think is somewhat of an upgrade. Here's what we fucking do. Why don't we take our colony, specifically Butworth, this is the one churning out just, quarry materials. Why don't we set it to churn out animals, and then why don't we tithe the animals until we find an animal that's compatible with our system. So we tithe the animals, and then we just go all in. This is probably going to cost us a small fucking fortune, I will admit. But it's something, right? It's better than what we've got right now. It's better than building all of these things for no real output. So let me just double check. Is that even base of 0, modifier of 1.5, the final is 0. You're not wrong. 0 times 1.25 is still 0, but 2 times 1.87 is not also 0. Maybe that's only 0 because we haven't put any works into it? Yes, that is the case. Okay, so actually we can't get animals from that particular one. Alright, so in that case, we'll have to set up a new settlement for specifically just animals. Animal tithing. And we'll build a dedicated animal research lab. How about that? That way we can bring in the genetics room as well. We have reasons to do that. I like this idea. Yeah, I'm convincing myself the more I think about it here. So let's set that up as the final thing we do for today. I am genuinely so disappointed that we can't make Wojtek the machine gunning polar bear that we wanted. But at the end of the day, he is now a farmer with a golden eye. I couldn't ask for a better end to him. So let's go and do that immediately, and then tomorrow we should be able to immediately start tithing some animals here. So where are we looking? What's good for animal tithing? I assume rainforests are probably not bad. We got 1.5. To be fair, animal tithing is pretty good anywhere on the plains, on the temporal forest, sorry. We've got up here 0.5. Yeah, I guess we'll just set one up, like, right there. That's fairly convenient. What down here? 0.5 as well. Yeah, we'll put it there. Desert, just to triple check. Now we're good. Right. One quarry. One quarry. Yeah, one animal quarry is now set up and ready to go. I am genuinely quite disappointed about the whole Wojtek thing. I could always throw together a mod or something that gives polar bears shoulders. That's the mod we need in Rimworld. But to be honest, it's obviously not intended. We're already stretching it anyway by allowing animals to have human organs with the Xenobiotic Patcher mod. So I feel like any more fuckery might end up with some really strange side effects. In the meantime, of course, a thank you goes out to Necrophil, Noah, Gogolus, Emerald Ghost 11, Odie, Limpy George, Anthony Gawley, Scary Scurvy, Cobalt Lotus, Alex, Blue the Bard, Layla, Asina Kirito, Atmosis, Justin Wallace, and everyone else at the Insane Tier Lovers on Patreon for keeping the Wojtek dream alive for as long as you did. The heroes of this here channel. A thank you as well to Shittledirt, Zega the Chaos King, Jackson P, Astro, Cody Cope, Matteo, Will Wade, Magister Militant, Monica Vargas, Harry Soft, Danny, Moira Valkyrie, Talar, Mason Fireblast, Mythomatic, and everyone else at Patreon as well for making the Wojtek dream live for as long as it did. Maybe there is still hope for Wojtek. I'll see what I can do behind the scenes.